Hello again, everyone. This is Joe Henches with Beyond the Chart, and this is technical analysis of the stock market today. Today is Wednesday, October 8th, 2014. And we're going to take a look at the markets today like we usually do, and the indicators, and we're going to look at some of the international indices, including China, which opened for the trading the first day in a week. And we're going to look at 4 Chinese stocks then tonight: BIDU, CTRP, KNDI Technologies, and SINA. Okay, the Dow was up a whopping 274 points today, and a lot of that kicked in this afternoon after the Fed minutes were released at 1 o'clock Central Time. So my best analysis of this is that we have continued, let me get rid of this, we have continued to push to new lows, just like we did here, and lower lows, and we have a series of lower highs. So the real question is, with this type of candle that we're seeing here, this is pretty much an engulfing bullish candle, but very much like that candle, okay? So you sit back and say, well, deja vu, already saw that. Well, you know, I don't know. I mean, I think this had a little bit of fairly weak advanced declines. The advanced declines were 4 to 1 today, 4 advances for every 1 decliner. So that was fairly strong on the breath. But when you look at the new high, new low, it actually plunged to a new low in terms of the net on that, and we'll talk about that in a minute. There were 287 new lows, 41 new highs, and we'll look at that in just a minute. So right now, my best interpretation of this is that we have a series of 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, because we're constantly just working our way down. We have not broken out and gotten a completed 3 waves down yet by a wave count. Now, if we take out this high here, 17,099 on the Dow, then I'm going to sit back and wonder, okay, you know, we're going to have to, you know, start changing scenarios and figure out what's going on. And it's totally possible that it could, or that we just do exactly like what we did here on the 25th, and roll right back over and head down. Now, the other interesting thing I'll point out to you is that this move from here, let's see if I've got my notes in front of me somewhere. Oh, yeah, dig out underneath the paperwork over here. Here we go. Okay, this wave from here to here. So the high on Monday to the low today was 436 points on the Dow, 436 points sell-off. And then we rallied back to a high here at 17,006.90. And that's 343.67 points. So that percentage retracement is 0.788. The classic, when you go beyond 618, one of the classic retracement measures is 0.786. We literally missed it by 2 1,000ths of a point. So literally this pulled back intraday high almost exactly to 0.786 retracement of this downward move. Now, we'll see whether that means a hill of beans or not tomorrow morning and tomorrow, depending on how this plays out. But I think that was very interesting. I remember doing the calculation and I thought, okay, this is stopping right at 17,006. And that is one major potential stopping point. Okay, I'm going to quickly look at the other indices because I don't think they're going to show a whole lot different. Same type of bar, same type of reaction here on the S&P 500. And on the NASDAQ, a similar big reversal bar. I mean, you have to sit back and say, yeah, it does look like a big reversal bar. I mean, there's no doubt about it. But again, reversal bars are only, you know, they're only confirmed depending on the price action of the next day or two. So, you know, all you can do is wait to see what we get. Now, the Russell 2000, you know, this had a big reversal bar too. And, you know, we got this close yesterday, breaking below the 1082, which I'd been waiting for. We've been watching because we came on down. We almost touched it. Then we kind of penetrated it, but didn't close below it. Then we closed below it yesterday. and now we reverse back up. So it's, who knows? I mean, it's really hard to tell. Again, you know, you're not going to be able to, you know, predict what the market's going to do on a day to day, the next day. Market's going to do what the market's going to do. We try to assess and figure out what kind of pattern, what is it possibly doing. We're getting some divergence here, which, you know, kind of leads to why this bounced back, but we didn't get it on DI minus, so it was, you know, a little bit of mix there. New York Composite, another big reversal bar, again after confirming and getting, we had the close here, but this was a pretty solid close yesterday, and actually closed below that trend line coming up from February 2009 on the New York Composite short-term trading index. At one point today, we were well above 2, and then we kind of came on back in the afternoon and closed right on down, right about where we opened, 0.92. And the 10-day, you can see it here, it's at 1.10. So it's not an extreme big reversal on the VIX. Surprise, surprise. You know, it's market goes up, the VIX is going to go down. But you know, we for a while there we were trading up here, and I thought we were going to make a run. It'll be fun to watch. High low, as I mentioned before, you know, we did go to a new low here on the net new highs, new lows, lower than what we did on the sell-off back on the October 1st and October 2nd, on those 2 days back down in here. So we're not improving in that situation whatsoever. 13 days in a row below zero. All right, now let's take a quick look. We're going to look at well, actually, I want to move to, why did that do that? I want to move to the international indices real quick. I want to take a look at the German extra DAX. And it is pretty much in a little bit of a free fall, you know, straight line down here. And it kind of looks like it's got a little bit of topping action going on, although that's not a pure symmetrical head and shoulders by any means. But you couldn't help but draw a trend line across the bottom at these points. I mean, they just lined up, you know, pretty nicely. You notice how the August low in here was a lot lower than the previous lows. And, you know, ours was just reverse. I mean, you look at the Dow. Let me zoom out, and you look at the Dow's lows, and they were all higher, and the German DAX is going the other way, and now it's coming back down and taking out that, looks like it's trying to take out that low. So take a look at the Russian MISEX index, and it was down today, last 2 days. Looks like it's starting to roll back over again. See, the next one we'll take a look at is India. And this one looks like, just, I haven't changed the number on this at all. I mean, this looks like it's now trying to do a fourth wave of some kind in terms of a corrective wave in here. And if we look over, let's see, 2 was kind of a complex. It looked like a zigzag X and then another zigzag, almost like a combined corrective wave for 2. So I would expect 3 to be a little more shallower and a little quicker. So we'll have to see. We may not get a whole lot. I mean, on this, if I were to look at a retracement of the third wave, if we call it that, I would still think that it's got some, you know, 23.6% is considered to be a shallow retracement by a correction. So I think we got some more room to the downside to go on as a part of a corrective action here on the Nifty 50 of India. And then we're going to take a look at the Shanghai Composite. And China has been closed. I can't remember exactly what holiday it is, but they have basically the whole first week of October was shut down. So this is the first day of trading since a week ago yesterday. So it was up nicely today, 18.9 points. And I've kind of modified my numbering a little bit. I pushed this up. I thought 3 was here. I think it may be here. This looks pretty strong. I like the looks of it, and Looks like it's making a run at breaking that trend line up here. Now we may get a little bit of resistance at that trend line, but if it bursts through it, that will be pretty positive. And I think that's it on the international. So let's go ahead and take a look at 4 Chinese stocks. We're going to take a look at BIDU. BIDU has basically just chopping sideways, almost just directly sideways. So, I mean, there's no doubt this is corrective action. You know, the real question is, what is it doing? What is it doing? And it's very hard to tell. This was like a little sharp correction in here, zigzag too. So yeah, we're getting some kind of complex sideways chop, and it's really hard to tell what it's doing. It looks like there's a little bit of resistance right up in here across these tops, and really that's about all you can do is just draw a line across those tops and say if we get a breakout or we get something else showing up, that's a sign, an indication of some kind. But again, you can't make a whole lot of sometimes you're going to look at stock charts and you're just not going to see a whole lot. And and same thing with trying to figure out the LA waves on some. Sometimes you look at it and just the LA wave picture is not going to be there. It's not going to be clear. Now on CTRP, this has clearly been pulling back pretty solid. And I had these potential support areas in here. This one didn't materialize at all. Let me go ahead and get rid of that. This one looks like it's providing some support. And now we got this reversal bar in here. But when I look at this picture, I think we've got 5 intermediate waves up. Okay, let's back it off. And, again, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I think we're working this. I think the 5th wave up here has been completed. If that's the case, I think we got more to go to the downside. And, again, I always get wary once we get into these corrective waves because they can morph into just about anything. I mean, it can start off at a zigzag, then all of a sudden get a connecting X and morph into a flat or another zigzag, and they can go on for a while. So you have to be careful and try to look for some kind of trend line break out of it. And right now I'm not seeing that. This looks like it's in a pretty solid downtrend, and I would not bet on trying to take a position right in here just on that 1 day's bar of today. KNDI, where's KNDI? KNDI Technologies. All right, now KNDI is sitting here trading at $13.69. I'm not going to be updating this stock a whole lot more if it stays right in this area, and I'm not going to give it. I mean, if it comes to 2 weeks from now and I go to update this below 15, I won't be updating it, okay? Once a stock gets trading below 15, I basically drop it off my radar because I do not like trading options on stocks that are that low down here. And honestly, I prefer them above 20. But this was kind of active, and I really thought it was going to turn. We played it a little bit up in here, but right now I don't know. We're not getting the turn. We can't seem to stay above the 10. Can't get 2 days in a row above the 10. So let me back it out and see if we can look at the bigger picture. I think we were thinking that we had 3 primary waves up and that we're working some kind of corrective action, and that still may be the case. But it's kind of unclear. I mean, really, I mean, one thing, when I look at the top of a corrective wave, you can draw a trend line out here, but there's a lot of room between here and here, a lot of air between here and there before you can honestly say we're breaking out of that corrective trend line. Now, you could draw a sharper one down in here. I mean, that's always a possibility. But right now, you got the 55 headed down, the 21 headed down, the 10 EMA headed down, and I think you need to be careful. And let's see, the next one is SINA. SINA is another one that is not a pretty picture at all. It is now trading down below the December 2012 low, and it just continues to sell off. Again, we have this reversal bar day today type of action. But I could probably go back and find you several reversal bar days like that one right there. This looked like a pretty bullish bar, although it wasn't engulfing. I mean, you're always going to be able to find that. I'm not saying that this won't go, but right now we're in a downtrend. We're getting a little bit of bullish divergence in here on the RSI. Not so much. It's kind of vague right in here on DI minus. But honestly, if you're looking to take a position in SINA, I would wait until this thing starts to turn a little bit more, until you get the 10 breaking above the 21. And even when you do that, I mean, you may get some pop, and it all depends on, you got to continue to watch the price action. So right now, this is in a pretty solid downtrend, and we're just going to have to continue to watch it, see what happens, see if it'll turn. All right, that's it for tonight. That's the market update. And boy, tomorrow is going to be interesting. There's no doubt about it. By the way, on the trade ideas, I am going to be modifying the stop slightly on Facebook. The other two, I'm keeping right where they're at. We'll see what happens. And that's the other thing I wanted to mention tonight. Pause this. The thing I wanted to mention was, there was a period, you're always going to have this at a day or at the end of the day or during the day, when you feel like everything's going against your positions and you just want to panic. You just want to, let me sell everything right now. Let me get out. And honestly, you have to just do a little bit of, breathe, just do a little bit of a sanity check and just say, look, am I following my plan? Have I put the right amount of capital at risk in terms of a percentage of my equity capital that I'm trading with? Am I following my plan? Do I have a stop in place? Has my plan been working in the past? And if you can pretty much sit back and say yes to all of those things, then okay, then just relax and let the market do what the market's going to do. And yeah, you're not going to, you're not going to win on 100% of your trades. And that's just the fact. That's the reality of the situation. The main thing is trying to limit our losses and staying in the game. So anyway, remember to trade your plan and hang in there. All right, we'll be back with you on Saturday, and have a great Thursday, Friday, everyone.